I want to encourage us that as Christians, we need to understand that faith is one of the paramount things that we need to have as Christians, because faith plays a vital role in our lives as Christians. That is why the Bible also teaches us that without faith, it is impossible to please God. That means as Christians, for us to always please God, we need to always act by faith. We need to demonstrate our faith, because faith is one of the instruments that we need to use in order for us to please God. That's why when Abraham engaged in this faith, he pleases God, and then God calls him the father of faith. So as Christians, we need to understand that faith is very important. As you pray, one of the requirements that you need to have is faith, because without faith, how can your prayer be answered? So for your prayers to be answered, one of the things that you need to have is faith, that God will answer your prayer. So faith is very, very important. That is why we need to engage or have this faith in us. That's why Jesus told his disciples that even if your faith is as little as mustard seed, you can command the mountains and it will obey. Why? Because faith is powerful. With faith, you can heal the sick. With faith, you can cast out devils. You can do great and mighty things with faith. That is why as Christians, we need to always increase our faith. We need to engage with this instrument called faith. Faith is very important. But for you to be able to engage faith in your daily activities is not easy. For example, now you are sick, and then you will just stay and say, you believe God, that God will heal you. It's not easy. You are feeling the pains and feeling all the stress, and then you just say God will heal. But a man of faith will believe that God has the capacity and the ability to heal him even in that situation. Okay, or maybe you are in need of money, resources, and then you don't have money, and then you begin to say, God will provide, even when you know that there is no single money in your pocket, and you will say you need 5 million. And then you say God will provide. It takes a man of faith to believe this. So faith is not something that is just easy. Yes, you can. It is easier for people to just say it, but it is not easy for people to act by faith. That is why as Christians, we don't need to be Christians who just say it, but we need to be those who act by faith. Act by faith. That is why when you check the life of Abraham, his wife, she was barren, but still yet God told him that he will become the father of all nations. How? When he checked the life of his wife, she's about how many years? She's old, but still God is saying he will be the father of all. It takes a man of faith. It takes a man of faith. So that's why as Christians, we need to always and be conscious about this thing called faith, because as we walk with God, we must daily exhibit faith in our lives. We need to exhibit faith. So I want to encourage us as Christians, we need to always act by faith, live by faith, and not by sight. Walk by faith and not by sight. And then as we continue to do, you begin to see the hand of God in your life. You begin to see God happy in what you are doing. And then faith is not easy. When you go back to Hebrew chapter 11, you find out that the Bible makes us to understand that faith is not just something that is easy. It's not something that you can see. But faith is something that you cannot see, but you believe and you are assured that this thing will come to pass. That thing is not there, but you have that assurance, that hope that these things will be there. That's faith for you. So we need to understand that faith is not easy, but as daily as we live, we need to engage in faith so that we can begin to see result in our lives, result in our family, result in our schools, businesses, and everything we do. and then the Lord will come to bless us all in Jesus' name.